To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. No, I probably had COVID like 74 times. I have no clue, and I don't care.
Everybody liked Blanche. Because Blanche was a pig who took it in the ass.
Did you smell your poop? Did you learn anything? Did you read about the dog story?
Why the fuck is my ex-girlfriend, who I despise, calling me?
A lot to blame on the news. It's a lot to blame on Anthony Fauci, that Italian leprechaun.
Almost like it never existed, but it fucking did. So do me a favor, go yourself.
JRPositiveSarcasm.com. Record here from the Spare Parts Studio. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, Gab, Sessions or Wisdom, Wisdom, and yeah, wherever. You know, find me on the social medias, or don't. Who cares? Social media is terrible for you. Email me directly, Positive Sarcasm. Hey, buddy. Email directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. You can also just go to my website, positivesarcasm.com. Click on the contact section. You can find me there. If you want to support this podcast or anything PS, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. So I got to drop. I was always looking forward to shooting like an outdoor podcast, and I finally got to do a small one before a wedding I shot on a Saturday. Well, it was supposed to be a Saturday according to my schedule, but according to the bride and groom's schedule, it was actually a Sunday. I went to the wrong wedding and had to go all the way back. But you guys can go ahead and check that out. It's like a 15-minute podcast that I shot at Zorvino's Vineyard in southern New Hampshire. It was a good time. That I was there on business on the Sunday one. The Saturday one was relatively short. Congratulations to that bride. Her dress was gorgeous. I can't show it to you because I deleted that footage because it wasn't the wedding I was supposed to shoot. Anyways, Jewish wedding, 90 degrees out. But first of all, beautiful venue, absolutely gorgeous. No grapes were in season for pulling, so I wasn't running around like chewing grapes off the vine. I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy with me if I did, but still, you know. Nice wedding. Got there around 8:50. Got there about 8:15. Immediately started pulling out the gear and shooting footage and all that other stuff. And by about 2, you know what's funny is I got there at 8:30. Nobody actually showed up until like 1 o'clock. Like the photographer didn't show up until like 1:30. Photographer's like, so we got here early. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Early? No, I can talk to you about early. But obviously for what I was charging and stuff like that, for what I charge hourly, it all pans out. It all evens out perfectly. They decided they were going to get married, they were going to get ready off the venue and then basically just show up, which was perfectly fine. By 1 o'clock, by 1:30, 2 o'clock, they were there. Within a couple hours, they were at the podium. And that was pretty much it. Now, as far as how it went, well, was it 90 degrees out? Yeah, but I really don't even think about that. I just take it into mild consideration depending upon what I'm going to wear for clothes. But for the most part, no, I'm dressed. I'm wearing a button shirt. I'm wearing some type of dress pants or chinos or something to that effect. I am wearing I'm wearing shoes or loafers or something. You know, I'm still pretty mobile. So I don't, wear short. I don't look unprofessional. I look the part. I blend into the crowd, and a lot of times I look better than the crowd. Let's be perfectly honest. Was it 90 degrees out? Yes, absolutely. But in the meantime, we press on. So I have multiple cameras that I set up from multiple angles so I can get the shots that I want. One that's generally I go through the brides. At this point, because I was not doing the editing, the bride sent me a list of the shots that she wanted, and I was like, okay, that's fine. That's what you want, then, and that's what you're paying for. Then that's exactly what you'll get. So I have to make sure that as long as I do my job and I get the shots that she wants, all is well in the universe. I have one camera that I do generally short bursts, like maybe like 8 to 12 minute shots with it at the very most, and then I use my very large 4K Handycam with a gimbal eyeball built inside of it to do most of the heavier lifting. So I go to the rabbi, It's an outdoor wedding. The ceremony's outdoors. I say to him, Rabbi, how long is the ceremony gonna be? He goes, 20 minutes. It's hot out. 40 minutes. This dude is still chirping. It's like, you're full of shit, Rabbi. Fucking Aunt Ethel's probably suffering from heat stroke, falling out of the back of her chair. So, first camera to die, I think due to the heat or whatever, was my GoPro. GoPro just decided to shut itself off as the bride was walking up to the aisle. So great. So I had to turn on. I had one hanging out in the back of the gazebo. Turned that on, but I failed to kick out of the way a headphone jack that apparently was in view of the GoPro's angle, because GoPros they shoot very, very wide. And there's a freaking head, and you looked off to the right. Oh, it's like because I'm reviewing the footage. Oh, great. There's a fucking headphone jack right in the way. Well, that basically kills that angle, or for the most part, unless you like zoom in and you do something creative with the footage. But yeah, there's that. Then, because the freaking rabbi's running wrong, almost 20 minutes in, because of the intense heat, my Sony Alpha decides, because it's recording, to shut off. Because of the heat, the intense heat, this small but nimble camera decides temperature's too hot. I'm saving this current thing during the bride's wedding vows, and turns off on it. So I'm like, great. Thankfully, I have a laptop plugged into the microphone stand, so the audio is being recorded. I have a camera that's in a permanent position, a straight ahead position. So I go ahead while my other camera is cooling down. I go and get the Handycam, which is still rolling, still recording, and then I bring that and you start shooting that as my mobile. In the meantime, down in the ground, just in case so I don't miss it for some reason, is the foot camera. Now, at a Jewish wedding, a foot camera is super important because at the end, when they pronounce you husband and wife, basically, the dude grabs like a wine glass that is in like a pillow, and then he puts it on the ground and he smashes it, and that ties the knot essentially. So I had a small Fujifilm point and shoot, which is also waterproof, which is important to have because it did downpour for a little bit. That's important to have. So I had that sitting there just ready to go just in case. And then I had that there, and then I was as soon as the glass breaks, that's the problem. You have to immediately pan up because as soon as the glass breaks, that's basically kiss the bride. So I had to pan up and then get that. So my other camera had finally cooled down and essentially shot the rest of the wedding. Now the DJ said that when we were hooking up, the plan of attack was to hook up a small laptop to the microphone system so that we could, as agreed, excuse me, it's late, get the sound from the ceremony, get the sound from the speeches, and get the sound from some stuff they were doing with music. However, the DJ plugged it into a new system. He plugged it into a new board, a new mixer board, but he had it cranked way too high. So he clipped the shit, blown out sound. Like, basically, in my opinion, not to my standards. However, I also had multiple cameras running at the same time while this was going on. And since it's mostly the music that was blown out, you simply just get the MP3s for the songs that were used primarily throughout the wedding, whether it be the ceremony or the reception afterwards, and you use those and you implant those. Perfect. So that takes care of that issue. All the speeches were nailed. They were all handled. And that essentially culminates the wedding itself. I missed, as far as missing shots, the only shot I didn't get for some fucked up reason is when the bride and the groom went inside the ice cream truck. And I don't know why. I swear to Christ I was recording, but I can't see it. I can't find it in the files that I compiled, which is about 130-something files, about 86 gigabytes worth of data. Some of that's the audio files I downloaded, but, about 120 in total, at least. So I don't know where it is, but I mean, I swear to Christ, I hit record on that. But everything else, as far as the list that was given to me, was fulfilled. So we'll just have to wait and see if the bride, and I explained to her the pluses and minuses of shooting on an extremely bright day, how it blows out the isolation in the camera, how you can fix that in post, and the extreme heat and how it hurt one of my cameras, and just gave her the pros and cons of how the day went, because if somebody else is gonna edit it, they should know what they're up against. So there's that. But I wonder what other people would think. It's like, oh my God, you're shooting on a 90-degree day. It's like, hey, listen, you got to go out there and you got to suffer a little bit if you want to make that extra coin. It's like, what are you going to do? Just like do a fucking TGIF and call it a weekend? What are you going to do? It's like, no, there is money, a lot of money, and a lot of connections to be made out there. And you need to be working that extra day or coming up with that extra plan of attack, because all this PS money goes into investments. It does not get used to pay off bills or anything like that. This is strictly for investing in my future. That's what it is. So whatever I make, or if it's a class action lawsuit or whatever, that goes straight into investments. That goes straight into monthly securities that pay nuggets every month. So that's important to me. I don't have to use it to pay down anything. I'm fine with that. But you should be considering to do that as well, as figuring out something. There's plenty of shit you can be doing to make extra cash a month, whether it be $50 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. There's something out there that you can be doing to be paying for, if it's crazy gas or energy prices or whatever. And I'm looking at rent prices right now. It's insane how little I'm paying right now compared to what everybody else is paying in this fucking state. And am I living in, pure bliss? No, I don't have a huge place. I just needed a place where I could restart the studio, have a comfortable setting, and hang out with a couple friends if needed, have a place to actually work out, which I do. I have my own workout area, and just be myself and have nobody bother me. So, I don't know what the fuck everybody else's problem is as far as not having enough money or complaining about everything. It's like I can't even right now with people. But I can tell you this: everybody that was at that wedding was very nice to me. I'm very helpful, first of all. Like, there was a girl who had a run in her dress due to bad dry cleaning, and I went and got that broad some scissors, and I was like, here, I'll get you, you need first of all, I pointed it out to her. She knew about it, but she was cognizant of it. Like, she wanted it not to be a problem. So I went and got her scissors and had them take care of it. I'm very helpful. This is one of the reasons I show up early at weddings, very early at weddings, to get an idea of what's going on in this environment that needs to be rectified before the wedding actually executes itself. This is very, very important to me. Those little attention to details, even if they have nothing to do with shooting video, make all the difference in your, quote, client services to get the ball rolling. Super important to me. But you can go ahead and, first of all, is this a wedding that you're going to see of mine? No, I'm not posting. This is not my project. This was just an assignment that somebody else is going to take care of. Could I piece it together? Could I actually do this myself and make a wedding out of it? Maybe. I'd have to have permission from the bride, and then again, I'd have to have the time to actually sit down and do this. And it's right now, it's not something that I really want to venture in. It's right now, as far as getting back into the swing of actually doing these types of things, this one was a bit of a rough patch because I had 2 cameras fail on me. Well, one is designed to fail, but this rabbi, he went almost 40 minutes on the speech in 90-degree weather. It's like, let's fucking speed this up, dude. My God. So that being said, we went all the way to about 9:15. You know what was really smart though? Was bride and groom, this idea about cutting the cake. It's, how much does a wedding cake cost? This is, I don't know. Well, let's just look this up. So, cost of wedding cake. Let's just look. Kale? Wedding kale? Cost of wedding cake. Let's just see. The average cost of a wedding cake is as low as $1.50 and as high as $12 per slice. So the average wedding cake costs between $300 to $800 for a three-tier cake that serves 100 to 150 guests. They decided to, instead of doing a wedding cake, they hired an ice cream truck to show up at 9 o'clock, roll up there, and give the people whatever they wanted. That's brilliant. No cutting the cake ceremony, no leftovers or any of that bullshit for people to take home. Nothing wasted. Nothing. That's brilliant. Just a regular old ice cream truck with all the cookie sandwiches and the SpongeBob SquarePants and the Rocket Pops and all that other stuff. Perfect. Nothing gets wasted. Everybody gets what they want. Well, for the most part, they did run into some things. They had Italian ice, you name it. So, absolutely brilliant. If you're thinking about getting married or something like that, I highly recommend. See if there's if you can price out an ice cream truck to show up at your location and just hand out ice cream. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Or just go out to the store and get like a shit ton of like ice cream sandwiches or donuts or that type of thing, and just do that as like a wedding cake or something to that effect. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. If you have 80 to 100 guests and you get like 80 to 100 like donuts and really good ice cream sandwiches or whatnot, and you just start doing and you shape it like a cake, you like tear it up, you make it tiered so it's like all the goes. I mean, there's so many ways you could do this to make it to kind of not really cheap out. It's not an idea of saving money. It's just something really clever. It's really simple. It's really, really simple. You don't have to go full bridezilla and have a cake that first of all, you like the way it tastes. You're going to eat like a slice of it, maybe. And it has to be made a certain way, and then somebody's got to go and pick it up. It's like, no, you can hire a food truck, or you can get a shitload of ice cream sandwiches or a shitload of donuts. Brilliant. Absolutely one of the smartest ideas for a wedding that I've ever witnessed, for sure. But overall, beautiful vineyard. Everybody was very helpful. The original bride was a little confused, but then again, I'm not really too worried about her. But she did have a beautiful dress, and she was very nice to me. That being said, I believe I did my job. It's great to be back in the swing of things. I had a little bit of a rusty performance, in my opinion, because I was constantly running back and forth. I was very cognizant, or overly cognizant, of trying to get the shots at, because it's a Jewish wedding, so Jewish weddings have certain things that, standard traditional weddings don't. So having that in the back of my mind, constantly checking, did I get everything on this checklist? Did I shoot this? Did I shoot that? Did I hit it with the right angle? Do I have enough angles of it? And that may have hindered my performance, but overall, I mean, what do I give myself? I don't know. As far as a grade, I give myself like a B. I give myself a B. Maybe I was a C. I don't know. Or maybe I was an A. I don't know. I think as far as effort, A. Shot quality, I'd say like a C+. And then as far as overall performance that day, I think I did a pretty good job. I think I give myself a B. Normally, at a wedding, I give myself an A-, and then if my editing skills take me all the way home, then it's like, all right, cool. But I don't know. It's just, I'm very overly critical of when I miss shots. It's like, why didn't I do that? Why did I fuck that up? Why isn't the quality here great? Why is the ISO set too high? Why didn't I change that? Why didn't I slow down? Why didn't I charge this? Why didn't I set this angle or this camera that's just sitting here? Why didn't I just put a little bit to the left or angle? It's just like, but when you're getting paid the amount of money that I do, it's or whatever, it's like you have to. This shit is very, very important. This is somebody's thing that they're probably going to be doing only once in their life, and they want to get those shots right. They want to get those moments captured correctly, and they shouldn't have to worry about me fucking up. They shouldn't. They should know if I'm coming, they're going to get what they hope for, truly. And then I sent them an email letting them know what to expect, all the details of it, what they're offering, and then I got some favors from friends regarding some additional stock footage to throw in for them, and that was that. So I'm not gonna milk it more than I have to. It was a very good wedding. Everything went off on time. Everybody seemed to have a very good time. The food was good, and that's all she wrote. But thank you once again to the bride and groom for having me, and I look forward to doing more weddings in the future. She said, "Oh, I know tons of people." I'm like, everybody here is already fucking pregnant and married, so there's nothing for me to capture. But yeah, there we go. I pulled it off. I think we'll see. Stay tuned. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do a short podcast this week, hopefully. I can't help but at least I was watching a lot of things. I was watching how a baby develops in the womb, which is a whole topic for another day. But this whole Hunter Biden thing, there was a highlight reel that was released from his cloud, his data cloud today, and I was looking at the highlights of it, and it's like, oh. I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, it's what's to be expected. The guy's a fucking crack addict. So, first of all, let me just say, as far as Hunter Biden goes, from what I've seen, if this was Charlie Sheen, if this footage was Charlie Sheen, would anyone care? Honestly, would anyone care if this was Charlie Sheen doing crack and banging hookers? That's what Charlie Sheen did or does. He's known for that. You know? But would anybody care? Maybe if Martin Sheen was the president of the United States, we'd care. But at the end of the day, the guy's a crack addict. The guy's probably done some real shady shit. The question is, was his dad involved? But this probe thing, I don't think anything's going to come of this. I look at these articles printed by all kinds of different news articles. It's like, is anything going to come of this? No. I think it's going to get buried. I think nothing's going to happen. I think nothing's going to get accomplished. I think nobody's going down in flames. Nothing. I think it's all just going to go away, and the crowd, the public is going to get left wondering what could have been or forget about it because the next season of the Kardashians is on. So nothing's going to come of this. Nothing at all. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's getting impeached. Nothing whatsoever. Just like Ghislaine Maxwell. That whole fucking thing. Remember that little fucking thing? Not a peep. Went to jail for 15, 20 years. That's all she wrote. She's going away. Nobody else. Husband, dead. Anybody else? There's like a laundry list of people that went to that island and fucked underage girls. Not a word. No list. No Bill Gates. No Bill Clinton. No other celebrities. No other high priority targets. No political figures. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing's going to happen from this. Not a word. She's probably going to get suicided in prison. And all this while, freaking this weirdo Klaus Schwab, he's planning his worldwide domination or whatever the fuck in his German. I mean, the Germans are coming. The Nazis are back. And Klaus Schwab is one of them or whatever he is. I don't know. I don't trust this fucking dude. He literally is a supervillain. Literally is a supervillain. And nobody trusts the system. Nobody has any faith in the system because all these people are so fucking crooked. It's just now that they've been exposed for being crooked, but we're like, yeah, we know. What are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? What's even possible at this point? I just feel like we're being pushed in so many directions with assault weapons and Roe v. Wade and election cycles and inflation and job loss and COVID and monkeypox. And it's like we're just being sent. And culture wars and cancel culture. I mean, this is why I wanted to get away from it. People's brains are actually broken. Actually broken. Seriously. My brain absolutely has been compromised over the past several years. Absolutely. From betrayal to COVID to moving and getting my life back together and losing a lot of money and it just... and of course, being separated from people in general has a lot of chemical effects on the brain. And mine is no exception. But keeping myself getting myself back together was the most important thing, was keeping my feet moving forward. And I feel like people are just tearing themselves apart, and I don't know what's going to happen after this. But like I've said before, I have to continue on. Like there is going to be a day tomorrow, and a day after that, and a day after that. But while I see all this, the Hunter Biden thing, the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, the Klaus Schwab supervillain thing, it's like nobody has any trust in any of these people. Nobody has any any confidence that things are going to get better. So when do we descend into chaos? If we haven't already. I'm pretty sure we already have. Homelessness through the roof. The border crisis out of control. We have state turmoil, federal turmoil. You know what's funny is, like, you can't even go and work in the healthcare industry unless you've been jabbed. Which is that's not even a vaccine. The flu shot is not a vaccine either. That's the definition is completely misused. And then fucking President Forget His Face just got COVID again, I guess, apparently. And he's recovering fine. Okay, yeah, fine. He seems to be doing just awesome. He seems like he's banging on all cylinders for sure. Seems like he's all there, doing jumping jacks and hitting the bag like nobody's business. The dude has no fucking idea what's going on. He's gone. He's brain dead. He's delusional. He's crazy. And his vice president is a fucking idiot. They have no idea what's going on. I mean, honestly, is it that? Are you that blind for not seeing it? And now all of a sudden, it's like all these assholes that were seemingly covering it up in the beginning, that were on these mainstream media news sources, are now just pointing it out. It's like, okay, dude, whatever. And then all of a sudden, that Cuomo asshole is like starting his own podcast. Like, I'll never betray my own. After he got fired by CNN, he's like, I'll never go against my former employer. It's like, dude, you have no credibility. And nobody's going to listen to your podcast because you have no credibility. They might listen for like the first 10 minutes, but you've got nothing to say. Nothing to say. You have no credibility. You lost all that. You didn't support people like me during the pandemic. So nobody's going to support you. Nobody fucking liked you. To be perfectly honest. There was nobody likable on CNN. None. Maybe Wolf Blitzer? Maybe because he looks like your uncle, your grandpa. But besides that, nobody else gave a shit about you. So what's to come? Hell, I don't know. But I'm looking at these I'm looking at all these articles about what's going to take place, and it's just like the media is not going to gain any information. What is this? I love these fucking articles. Hunter Biden's marriage is on the rocks. Crack rocks. 1 hour ago, sources close to President's wayward son say both Hunter and his wife are frustrated by the Secret Service watching them around the clock. I don't even know what that means. This dude, I swear to God, he looks. I mean, this guy. He looks like a guy I used to be in car sales with. Straight up, the dude is, and yeah, absolutely, 100% on some crack. Without a shadow of a doubt, dude is on some crack. But like I said, if this is Charlie Sheen, would anybody give a shit? If this was Johnny Depp, would anybody give a shit? So, I don't know how to stay away from this article. I don't know how to stay away from this topic. All I can say is shrug my shoulders and go, hey, shit's fucked. Let's move on. We are at 27 minutes. Not sure how we got here. Going back into my Instagram feed, just when I thought that I didn't have to deal with this anymore, like, it's been weird as far as like my Instagram feed. It's been like midgets and gay porn, and I don't know how this feed, but now it's like I saw it once and I play it, and now it's happening even more. And I thought maybe I was, because I'm into 80s stuff and I enjoy 80s stuff. So hold on, gotta sneeze. Good stuff. That's good content right there. So I was checking out, like, oh, looks like some funny 80s stuff. So I was just playing this, and I'm like, oh, this ought to be interesting.
Next, we have Brian, the tennis player.
And I'm like, this just looks like dating. But I think I might have been mistaken. It's like, first of all, the guy's got no body mass, no body structure. I can't get away from him no matter what I do. Look, hold on. Look at him. Right here. Right here. Right, not right there. Right here. Okay. He looks completely disinterested. He's just humping that tennis racket, completely disinterested. No way. He's like, yeah, I'm just here. Like, he's tired. He's falling asleep. He's been doing this all night. Nobody's going to use that tennis racket now. Even
Next, we have
Brian, the tennis player. No, we don't. We're done here. So I'm still dealing with this. I'm not sure what to do about it. All I know is if there's gay shit, I guess I just gotta turn lemons into lemonade and make it content. Now the midget stuff I'm not gonna really show because I really just have no interest to. I just know they're showing up in my feed. Half the feed because they're half the person. But still, that is something I'm still having to deal with. I'm still trying to find muscle cars and things about competitive fitness and funny articles, but at the same time, right next to that is gay porn and midgets. So there you have it. We are at 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and move over. It's been a very long week. Please excuse me. I'm moving on to Q&A, and then I am immediately getting the fuck out of here. By the way, if you want to support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Here we go. Dig.com Q&A. What should I do when my in-laws, who know I'm a vegetarian, bring over meat dishes to help after my C-section? After having my first baby, I am finding that when people say they want to help, what they actually mean is they want to do things that make them feel helpful. Case in point, I am vegetarian and have been since long before meeting my in-laws. When my baby was born, my mother and sister-in-law both volunteered to bring meals to me and my husband on a rotating basis, for which we were very thankful. The first 2 meals they brought both featured meat, even though they know I'm a vegetarian. I thanked them. They reminded them through my husband that I am a vegetarian and hinted that we don't need any more food if they aren't comfortable cooking without meat. They waved this off and continued to bring meat dishes as recently as yesterday. And my mother-in-law said, at least one of you will be fed. I guess she expects me to cook for myself and the 2 of us to eat separate dishes for the next few nights. What is the correct response here? This is supposed to be helpful as I recover from my C-section. Instead, all it's doing is causing my blood pressure to spike. Well, I don't know. First of all, meat does heal. Meat does. Meat absolutely heals faster. I don't know what kind of family you've got. I mean, your C-section is going to eventually heal, right? So is this like a short-term thing? I don't know what's up with your family or how this works. So I don't know. Do whatever you want. If you don't like the food, I mean, I guess it's like if you don't like fish and they give you fish or, then you don't have to accept it or you can just give it to your husband. But it's just like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this works. I guess it's really up to you to decide what you want to do. I don't really have a strong opinion on this either way. If you want to give the food back, I guess you could. But I really don't have a huge about it. But I mean, I respect if you were a vegetarian, then yeah, I would. I mean, I personally would get you a gift card or, give you some vegetarian food or leave you some eggs. Because if you're a vegetarian, you can eat eggs. I'd leave you some eggs. Let's move on to the next one. Should I allow my daughter to inherit the house she grew up in or leave it to my fiance, who is my daughter's childhood friend? Well, it's a personal preference, but okay. My daughter Isabella is married to a successful young lawyer and is 8 months pregnant with their first child. My first wife and I wanted more children, but it never happened. She lost her battle, with cancer when Isabella was 16. Okay. Didn't feel like dating anyone again for almost 5 years. Over the next few years, I saw several women, none of them seriously. Then at Isabella's wedding in 2019, I connected with one of her bridesmaids, Madison, a lovely young woman I'd last seen as a gawky teenager. Ooh. Isabella was shocked when she found out Madison and I were dating, but didn't expect it to last long. But I just proposed to Madison, and she accepted. Well, congratulations. I took Isabella out to lunch to tell her. For a minute, she almost had a meltdown, but got herself together, and she said she hopes we are happy together. Late that night, I got an email stating she's worried about her inheritance if Madison and I have children. Specifically, she's afraid my house, a beautiful and unique 1884 Victorian, which Isabella grew up in from birth, is deeply attached to, will go to Madison upon my death, and then to my children with Madison instead of to her and her children. She feels this would especially unfair because her mother and I were gifted the house by my in-laws. So while she says this is hard for her, she's decided to disallow me any relationship with her unborn son and any future children of hers unless I either transfer the house to her and myself as joint tenants, so she will automatically inherit my share, or to an irrevocable trust with her and her children as beneficiaries. This would prevent me from making a will, then changing it once she's seen it. She says it's fine if I give Madison a life estate so she can continue to inhabit the property along with Isabella's family unless she remarries. Isabella doesn't even know that Madison wants children, but she does, and I think I'm up for it. I'm in my early... Wait, Isabella doesn't even know that Madison wants children. Who's... My daughter Isabella. Okay, that daughter wants children, but she does. Okay. And I think I'm up for it. In my early 50s, actually in excellent shape. My grandparents lived okay. But the moment I learned Isabella was pregnant, I've also had my heart set on being a grandpa. Should I do as she suggests? Would joint tenancy or trust be preferable? My biggest concern is the value of the house, currently over $2 million, may exceed the whole rest of my estate, especially after raising and educating several more children. And Madison has come to love this house as well. In fact, she claims she fell in love with it the first time she came over. Yeah, no shit. It's $2 million in middle school. What would be fair to everyone? Well, look, you went to a wedding and you married the bridesmaid. You have to make a decision. I think you can make a decision here that makes everybody happy. I think there's a whole bunch of selfishness going on. I think Isabella has a little bit of selfishness going on. You have a little bit of selfishness going on. And maybe Madison has a little bit of selfishness going on. I mean, if we just want to break this clean and make everybody happy, I would think you would give the actual estate to Isabella. And I think after that, you would just give the house, you would give something else, an actual, a death estate to your wife. I mean, if she's sticking with you, then she absolutely is entitled to something, I think. I mean, at the end of the day, is anybody really entitled to anything out of any of this? I mean, you could donate the house to a nonprofit if you wanted to, and nobody has any say about it. Except, I mean, your wife might. But still, I don't know if there's a prenuptial agreement there or not. I guess you could gift that. I think you could just, at this point, if you wanted to, and you want to be a grandfather, you could just give the house to your daughter and explain that to your wife and see how that pans out. But it seems like you're in a tough situation, and it seems like both your broads are just after your money. There's a shocker. Let's move on to the next one. Why didn't my employee take advantage of the pregnancy and parenting accommodations arranged for her without asking? One of the people on my team announced she's pregnant. I was thrilled for her. Wanted to be a supportive manager. Our company is too small to qualify for FMLA, but we do have our own program that allows for 12 weeks of paid medical leave. I went beyond that and allowed her an extra 8 weeks of paid leave on top of that, plus as much vacation time as she wanted to use. We're too small for this to be required by law, but I was able to convert one of our old spaces into a jumping room with a locking door, chair, sink, outlet, and we told her we would pay for her pumping breaks. Cool. I also set up a flexible schedule for when she returned to work. I also looked into her insurance plan and found out she could get a pump covered, and I sent her that info. I was surprised that she chose not to come back to work, that she chose to come back to work after 8 weeks and not take the full medical leave or the extra time I arranged for her. She didn't use the pumping room because she didn't breastfeed at all, and she wouldn't use the flexible schedule I got her. She worked her normal hours. I'm disappointed that I set all this up for her, only for her not to use any of it. I reminded her several times about the flexible schedule and let her know breastfeeding and pumping was still possible. She says her husband works for himself, and the plan was always for her to go back soon while he had the baby part-time, and the baby was in daycare part-time. She said she never planned to breastfeed, and formula was fine, and she told me she doesn't feel bad for choosing to work when she could afford to stay home and not breastfeeding, even though she could have. I don't understand why she wouldn't want the perks. I worked so hard to set it up. I'm disappointed in her and having a hard time getting over it. I have my job. I had to quit my job when I was pregnant because there was no support for working moms. I'm having a hard time understanding why she wouldn't want the perks. I would have killed for them back then. She went right back to work like she had never left. Well, I mean, if that's what she wants to do and she wants to work, then by all means, you should allow her to work. I don't see any real issue with that if she feels up for the task. Some people do return from work early, and that's just kind of the way she crumbles. So I would just leave it alone, and whatever she wants to do is 100% her business. I wouldn't push it. We're going to close up shop early tonight because I did a podcast. I posted one on Sunday. I posted one on Saturday, and we're just going to go ahead and close up shop for today. If you have questions, concerns, comments, you can feel free to reach out to me, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. You can email me Positive Sarcasm on my website. Go to contact section, email me there. Find me on social medias, posing music for bodybuilders, movie reviews, whatever you need. Go ahead, check out my other channels, everything like that, and then we'll just go from there. That's pretty much it. Want to kind of keep it short this week, and I think that'll be pretty much it. We'll go ahead and I have some other stuff I have planned for next week too. I have this thing that I've been working on for quite a while as far as writing, and I finally want to make that public. I just need to tie one more piece together, get the picture going, and then I'll post that. But in the meantime, thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. You can find me anywhere where podcasts are available, and you can find this podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing, and I'll talk to you all next week. Recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation.